Do you want to be in the video? Hi, Keiko. Hey everyone, it's Sarah back again with another video. I know it's been a minute since we've last posted, but it's been busy. There's been a lot of holidays obviously this month, and just, personal stuff, and yeah. We went and saw Sum 41's final tour a couple weeks ago, and Mother's Day, there was just, a ton of stuff, so good and bad aside, today I'm talking about a painting that I've been working on throughout all that, which would be the album cover for Senses Fail, Let It Enfold You. This album is going to be turning, 20, I believe, this September, which is kind of crazy to believe, but time is passing. Yeah, and then my birthday is at the end of this month too, so I'll be turning, well, I'll just say I'm in my 30s. So anyway, yeah. I really kind of struggled with this painting, to be honest, and I'm not even really sure if I would consider it finished per se, but that was kind of the point, I guess, in this exercise, especially due to the subject matter of the painting was really kind of, I don't want to say mocking me, but I guess it's not mocking if something reflects the way you feel. No pun intended, since there's a mirror in the painting, but yeah, I kind of trudged through it, and I think the biggest thing is just, persevering. Even when energy is low, you're having a tough time. It's just such a good way to balance yourself and stay connected to yourself. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I'll be discussing Let It Enfold You, and yeah, hope you enjoy. So I've been listening to Senses Fail for close to 20 years at this point, mostly through my introductions to their first two albums, which would consist of Let It Enfold You, as we're talking about now, and followed by Still Searching in 2006. There are, a lot of popular songs on Still Searching, such as Can't Be Saved and Calling All Cars, which are arguably, some of their most famous songs. I do really like that album, but Let It Enfold You kind of holds a special place for me. And I believe I was watching a video interview of Buddy Nielsen, the singer for Senses Fail, and he kind of said the same thing, that Let It Enfold You kind of had like a newness and raw energy that, he didn't really feel with the other albums. And I kind of felt like that too. Though I didn't help make the album, just listening, I kind of feel like that. But yeah. So, of course, that's what got me acquainted with the band, was this album, and caught my interest, and I'm always going to have that element kind of influencing me. But yeah, I believe this album feels so whole that I almost always play it start to finish. Of course, once in a while I'll pick a song here or there to play if it's stuck in my head, but I really almost always put the whole album on. But to touch note on some songs, if I had to pick a couple, I would say Tie Her Down. I really love the lyrics with their line, "So let me take thee with a chainsaw," which honestly, for the longest time, I thought was "So F me gently with a chainsaw," which is, obviously a reference to a quote from that famous 80s movie, Heathers. It isn't, after all, but I don't know. I thought it was. I was wrong. I have to say I like both lines, but I stand corrected. But alongside of that would be Lady in the Blue Dress, which if you Google, you'll get tons of none other than oil paintings of women in blue dresses. On the topic of oil painting. Rum is for drinking, not for burning, which is a movie quote. And that's also another song in which I really love the imagery of the lyrics. Sail with me into the setting sun. And Let's see, lastly but not least, one of their biggest hits, of course, Buried Alive, with the lyrics, "Rest in peace, girl, your death is such a shame. The paper said a bullet got in your way." Personally, that song is really fun to play and sing on guitar, or just sing along to even. I really like it. It's close to my heart. It kind of takes me back too. But yeah, and also the opening scream on "The Irony of Dying on Your Birthday" is just really, I love it. But regardless, I don't think I can say that there's a song I don't like on this album. And I have so many fond memories of listening to Senses Fail, especially going for walks as a teenager or browsing on MySpace. I have specific memories of having it up, listening to it while being on my computer. And I'm pretty sure I even have used one of their songs as, a profile song at one point. But anyway, while I was doing some research on the band, and I usually just look up interviews and stuff anyway, but I came across a recent video of Buddy Nielsen, as I mentioned, the singer. He was kind of talking about how they came up with a name for the band Senses Fail. He had mentioned when he was a teenager that he was more or less kind of influenced by Eastern philosophies, and I feel like a lot of people that are thinkers kind of feel like that as a teenager. And also just the fact that it's really easy to feel as though reality is kind of fabricated and unreal, especially when you start to question things as you're getting older. So it's kind of self-explanatory, but yeah, I think it goes without saying that this particular album cover is a really great representation of that, the idea. Which had led me to my next point that I kind of mentioned in the beginning of this video. The subject matter of the painting became sort of more and more reflecting of how I felt while I was painting it, which, I paint all kinds of different things, and sometimes it reflects how I'm feeling, sometimes it's, just the technicality of painting, and I guess I felt more connected to it. I can look at the album cover and feel connected, but I guess painting it gave me a whole new perspective, I guess. It really amplified it. But it's fair to say, I was really having to trudge through this painting, which I've, really fought through a lot of paintings in my life, but for some reason, this one was really giving me like a swift kick in the behind. And I think it was a combination of many factors in my outside life that really put me through a struggle to get through this painting and get a video up. The concepts of presenting well and orderly, even when someone doesn't feel that way inside, the illusions of the everyday, it's set in the backdrop of the mundane. But inside, I too was feeling that screaming, burning feeling, like inside the painting, and it's all contained, under the surface. It represents, the character looking through the mirror, but the mirror's reflection is also representing you, which can be a little off-putting. It's also incredibly unifying and validating, though, because I feel a huge part of people's frustrations can be, the absolute loneliness of our experiences. But loneliness, in turn, also is a universal and shared experience. So that's kind of, a conundrum, but I really had to discipline myself to work on it against all my desire not to. And then, of course, I had to accept the fact that not everything I make will be perfect in my eyes. Of course, this isn't a new concept for me or anyone really, but I certainly feel a greater pressure when trying to produce for other people rather than myself. I mean, it is for myself at the end of the day, but it also kind of isn't. And, it's easy to compare myself to I believe the original piece is, you know, obviously a photo, and it's got some Photoshop stuff going on. It's different, but still, you know. I really just had to take this painting and look at it for the effort I put into it rather than just the product, which is the greater message of, you know, creating. But sometimes I will have moments of humility that remind me of this. And I have to say, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, things cropping up lately in regards to caring for and worrying about others. Things I'm powerless over, you know, that I wish I could change, but I can't. And things I have to not necessarily forgive, but move on from and live alongside of. And also just coping with feelings of being, you know, sometimes completely let down or even attacked by others. And like I said, I'm all for being humble or admitting I'm wrong. But sometimes, you know, there's just people that are really aggressive out there. And they say hurt people hurt others, but it's not a nice feeling. But, you know, I'm lucky for and grateful for everything I do have, and that means the world to me. But it can be tough to, you know, just brush over these, you know, sad, scared, insecure, and frustrated feelings, and to take those and have the ambition and will to make the best art over all of that. I do think it's a stereotype that is probably going to go away at some point, but, you know, about suffering or like a pretty deep depression and how artists operate in regards to how I feel. I'm not saying to stop creating, but it's tough. But anyway, I may not feel the best about this painting, but I could feel worse. And, you know, I guess the bigger message is that I hope that possibly it's an example to give, you know, courage to other people to keep going, even if you feel like, you know, the person in the picture who's burning alive. It can be hard to pick up a paintbrush, an instrument, a pencil, put your shoes on, get out of bed, take a shower, whatever it may be. You know, it can be really hard to do, you know, on a daily basis. And, you know, just because people might see a small piece of, you know, my ambition, you know, doesn't mean like I have drive all the time. You know, it's really, really tough, and I really have empathy for people. But yeah, I want to remind people that even when times are really tough and you feel alone, I hope to just remind people, you know, loneliness in itself is such a horrible feeling, but it's also collective, and, you know, hopefully there's always someone to reach out to. I don't even care if someone's a stranger, you know, always feel free to reach out, because it's really tough to deal with, and you may feel alone, and it's so cliche, but you don't have to be. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.